Yes, I'm so glad that you got it.
I literally had no idea. I have never seen that movie in my life.
Hey everyone, this is Alia, and today I'm joined by...
Oh, was that my introduction?
Sorry. Yeah,
we are joined by Sam. Hello everybody, how are we all doing?
So today, Sam and I are playing a new game, a new movie game, where I will read some movie reviews, and based on the review, I've chosen really bad reviews, by the way. Sam will guess what movie the review is talking about. And if you like these types of videos where we play games and talk about movies, make sure to visit us at EnglishSponge.com for more. So, Sam, what do you think about the game that we're about to play?
Bad movie reviews. Now, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit worried, if I'm going to be honest with you, because I am not very good with movies. In fact, if you watch my Guess the Character video with Justine, you guys can see just how bad I really am. I'm hoping not to absolutely embarrass myself today, but I can't make any promises.
Yes, that's the tough part, is I don't know which movies you've seen and which movies you haven't seen. So, and then even if you have, do you remember them? So that's always the hard part about getting set up for these games. But I always try to pick movies that I think most people would know, and hopefully that's the case.
And of course, for all of you guys watching at home, play along with me. Put your guesses into the comments down below and see if you can do better than I do. I'm pretty sure you can. So, I'm ready to get into it. What is the first movie?
So, I'm going to start reading the first bad movie review. Here we go. Let's get something out of the way. I know this is going to ruffle some feathers. This movie is sacred in internet culture, upheld as some kind of untouchable meme god, a nostalgia-fueled masterpiece that can do no wrong. But someone has to say it, and I guess I'll be the villain here. I hate this movie, and I think it's a terrible movie. When this movie was released in the early 2000s, its big selling point was how it flipped the fairy tale genre on its head. But let's be honest here, there's not much there. It's a standard buddy road trip comedy with a green coat of paint. The satire wants so badly to be edgy, but it ends up being shallow. It doesn't challenge the tropes of fairy tales, it just pokes fun at them, like a middle schooler making fart jokes. Oh yeah. It literally has fart jokes, lots of them, because nothing says brilliant subversion like excessive bodily functions.
Okay.
There you have it.
I think I know what movie this is. But before I reveal to you what my guess is, I'm going to explain to you why I think it is. So, untouchable meme god. Nostalgia-fueled masterpiece. These obviously immediately made me think of things from my childhood. Big, important movies. Movies that are still culturally relevant today. My first thought was the B movie. But there was another piece of information that definitely showed me what the movie was. And that was a road trip comedy with a green coat of paint.
That's
Alia, I believe this movie is Shrek.
That is absolutely right. Yes. This movie is Shrek.
And I want to say I completely disagree with this review. I watched Shrek again recently, I had not seen Shrek in a long time, but recently I watched it again, and it holds up. Shrek's amazing.
That's so funny. That's so funny because I recently also watched it again after a long time, and it's just, yeah, it's a classic. I mean, if you think about the type of movies that were coming out for kids around that time, it was like a game changer. Like, nobody was making movies like that. And that's why there's so much nostalgia, and it's iconic because it's still very quotable. It's still like just a cultural like touch point. So why are we surprised that these are the types of movies that like most people love? You know what I mean?
Excellent. Well, I got one correct, which is already more than I had expected. So let's get into the second bad movie review.
Okay, let's do it. I am not sure why I put myself through this ordeal again. I was probably wondering how well this overly long monstrosity had aged. Not too well, I can say. The CGI, once lauded for being the best in its field, predictably shows its age 25 years on. And with Game of Thrones having set the new standard for adult fantasy, this movie is exposed as an unsexy and cloyingly sweet puerile snooze fest riddled with stock characters, wooden dialogue, and offendingly unrealistic fight scenes.
Yes. I think the difficulty has stepped up a notch.
Yes.
So whatever this movie is, it has to be old because it was made 25 years ago. And the end of the review, where they talked about how the characters are basic. That's what they mean when they say stock characters. They said it's really boring. That's what they mean when they said it's a snooze fest. I don't want to say what I think it is, because I think it's one of my favourite movies.
Oh, it's my favorite movie. This was very painful. This was very painful to read for me.
The thing that pushes me towards this is the idea of the CGI being, known as the best of its field, showing its age 25 years on. For that reason, I am going to go with Star Wars. And not just any Star Wars. I think we're going to go with the Star Wars Episode 1.
Okay, interesting choice. It's not Star Wars Episode 1.
Okay, I'm happy, because that's a fantastic movie.
It is. I'm one of the only other people who really likes that movie. And I think it's great. So... you're right. It's a good guess because a lot of what is said here is, criticism I hear about that movie as well. But it's not the correct movie.
Okay. Please reveal to me what is the correct movie.
Okay. So the correct movie is The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay, now I know I'm probably going to offend some people in the comments. I have only ever seen the first Lord of the Rings movie. It was okay. I guess people are going to get really angry at me for saying this. So actually, I do sort of understand where this review is coming from.
Okay. We're going to have a problem. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think I understand where the review is coming from. If the person doesn't understand that Lord of the Rings is kind of like the classic fantasy story that most others have, taken and ran with and like, you know, become successful off of. So like my big problem with the statement that it's like unsexy and has stock characters doesn't make any sense, because clearly this person doesn't know that like the characters are actually extremely complex, and like they also subvert like tropes about typical heroes and like typical good versus evil stories. So I have a major problem with this review. I recommend to you to watch it again, but I also recommend that you read the books, because I think Tolkien is an incredibly important author to read if you're interested in like the English language at all. I think you'll understand what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So let's move into the next movie review.
The movie that dared to ask the question, what if we made a spy thriller so confusing even the writers had no idea what was going on? A cinematic Rubik's Cube wrapped in dynamite and thrown at the actor while he sprints at 200 miles per hour with a determined squint. We open with a team of elite agents who are all introduced just in time for you to not care before they get dramatically murdered in increasingly suspicious ways. Enter the main character, a man whose main qualifications for espionage seems to be a bottomless supply of hair gel and the uncanny ability to look serious while typing furiously on a mid-90s laptop the size of a microwave. The plot, something about a list, which I'm still not convinced isn't just an early draft of a grocery list. The main character is framed, everyone's shady, and apparently the only way to prove your innocence is to hang from a ceiling like a Cirque du Soleil dropout in the world's quietest room. You know the scene, everyone knows the scene. It's iconic, suspenseful, and scientifically inaccurate. Because no one lowers themselves into a vault without at least grunting once. All in all, the movie is a chaotic delight. It has the subtlety of a Michael Bay fever dream and the plot complexity of a tax return. But hey, it gave us the main character legacy, taught us how to sweat while hacking, and proved once and for all that no one runs like this actor. Would I watch it again? Absolutely. Would I understand it the second time? Still no, but that's not the point.
Yeah, this one's got me. I'm a little bit lost.
No way.
Yeah, I'm really not good with action movies, especially. I don't tend to enjoy them very much. So the main part of the review is centered around the idea of the main character being suspended and being lifted down, or being lowered down, to pick up a diamond from a vault or something like that. That's a very common trope in action movies, especially in heist or spy movies. It's a very common trope. Which means it could be many movies. Now,
right.
They have mentioned the actor's name twice, but of course I cannot see the actor's name. And they've also mentioned a lot of hair gel. So, I have a wild guess. And if I'm correct here, I'm going to be very proud of myself. Alia, is this movie Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible?
Yes, I'm so glad that you got it.
I literally had no idea. I have never seen that movie in my life, so very proud of myself there.
It's a movie that I rewatched again recently too, because I had seen like parts of it when I was a kid, especially the scene where he's lowering, down into the vault. And can't make any noise, can't breathe, can't sweat, or, all the alarms are going to go off. But Yeah, it's kind of the original. Like, all of the movies that have a scene like that, like, they're copying this scene. This is the original.
So they were all
so-
inspired by this scene specifically.
Exactly. Yeah, well, great job. I mean, especially for not having seen the movie.
Yeah, I'm
Really
quite
great
proud
job.
of that one, I have to be honest.
Yeah. Good job.
Okay, going into the final bad movie review.
This is my first controversial take. This is actually a bad movie. Anyone who says otherwise is stuck up. 4 Oscars and praise from people who saw a movie subvert the norm and didn't bother looking any further. The movie touts its purposely dense storytelling as the audience getting to piece it together themselves, but that's just an excuse to give an unfinished story to the viewer in the name of artistic direction. I know that the book it's based on was followed closely, and people use that it's faithful as a big part of why the movie is good. Not gonna lie, the book is also crap then, a modern Western that's just written badly. The main character who goes through struggles and multiple fights, which we watch, has his story end off screen. Once he does, the movie flounders around. The main villain is just never punished, going around doing whatever, getting incredibly hurt, then just walking it off every single time. I'm not saying all villains should be defeated, but there is absolutely no reason as to why he is still alive. When the characters are all just so dumb and do things that make no logical sense whatsoever. Also, the bad guy needs to get rid of that yee haircut. Honestly, I don't know how the Coen brothers went from Fargo and Big Lebowski to this. I love both those movies, but I hate this one.
Wow. Some stern words from whoever wrote this one. They were clearly very passionate about how much they didn't like the film. Now, I feel like if I were better at movies, if I had seen more movies, this would be an easy one to guess. But as we have discovered during this video, I do not watch very many movies. Modern Western, that is the genre, which definitely limits my options. What I do remember is a few years ago, Netflix released a very popular Western movie, a movie about the Wild West of America. Now, I can't remember exactly what the movie was called, but it was something called like the something 6, the unlawful 6, or something like this. I might be off the mark. Am I massively off the mark, Alia?
I think if you know the directors, the Coen brothers, you would know the movie, and if you don't really know a lot about the Coen brothers, you probably wouldn't. I'm not sure about this Netflix movie, but you're right that a lot of Westerns have those types of names.
Does it have the guy from John Wick in it?
No.
No? Then I have no clue.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, I got no clue. Please let me know down in the comments below if you have any idea or if you have seen this movie, because I am lost.
Yeah, I'm really curious if the watchers have seen this movie, because I feel like the review actually does give away a lot of important things. So like, if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. So I'm curious how many other people have seen this movie. So it is called No Country for Old Men.
I have heard of it. Yeah, I have heard of it. I have definitely scrolled past it before on Netflix or on another platform. So, I mean...
I'm curious if tell me if you watch it, because I'm curious if you'll agree with this review or if you'll enjoy it. I personally enjoy it. I don't think it's perfect, but I enjoyed all of the movies that I chose, actually. And that's kind of why it was fun to find bad reviews, because I don't agree with them at all.
Yeah, well, I got 2 out of 4. When we consider just how bad I am at movie trivia, I'm actually okay with that. I think I gave it a respectable go. What do you think, Alia?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think what was impressive is that you guessed Mission Impossible without having ever seen it. So, I mean, that's great. You can make a educated guess. So that's awesome. But I do think you need to watch more movies.
So I'm not a big movie person, I have tried, but yeah, I just like YouTube too much. I guess I'm just too much of a Gen Z. That's just what we do.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. Well, I hope that you give all of these movies a shot. Let me know, because I love to discuss movies, and yeah, maybe we should come up with some more games that don't involve movies, so that everybody.
I have to admit, this was my idea, by the way. I came up with this idea.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. We really hope that you enjoyed it. If you enjoy watching clear, comprehensible input, please make sure to check out the English Sponge website, where we have over 500 videos ready for you guys to watch right now. Watch videos, track your hours, see your progress in real time. Alia, do you have anything to say to the lovely people?
Thanks so much for watching. Tell me what you think about these movies in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
Catch you later.
Bye.